Now let's look at Drew Harwell's Washington Post article on Nicolas Fuentes. Drew reports from WAPO. New, we found out how much money Nick Fuentes makes from Super Chats. $900,000 since the start of Trump's second term. 900,000. Here's the story of Christine in Ohio, a food truck operator who became his most frequent donor despite not making much money herself. Nick's Super Chats look like this, so we use an AI tool to tally up the tips. His revenue spiked after the Tucker interview from $60K a month to $100K a month. People are fanatical because they feel conflicted and misunderstood like I do, Nick told me. Nick Fuentes' response to the story on X, I'm rich, and says on Telegram, mo money, mo problems. In text this morning, he told me, it's like an attack on my livelihood, and it's mean. He spreads hate online, and fans pay him hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. This is the story about Nicolas Fuentes. Nicolas Fuentes. The Hasanabi method? Yeah. Classic Hasanabi method. Do you make anywhere near that in donations? Fuck no. I don't get any donations because I don't have TTS on purpose. If you recall. Far-right influencer Nick Fuentes pocketed roughly $900,000 from fanatical donors since the start of 2025. Some superfans see him as a part of their families. Christine Kasubienski's donation appeared on viewer screens for hours in the live stream. 4 hours into the live stream of Nick Fuentes, the far-right influencer she often called her second son. I pray daily for your safety, she wrote one night last August, sending Fuentes a $50 digital gift. I would become Charles Bronson vigilante to anyone who harmed you. Keep up the fight. For 7 years, Kasubienski has binged Fuentes' nearly nightly monologues from her home in Lorain, Ohio, watching as a college student from suburban Illinois grew into one of the most prominent torchbearers for an increasingly radicalized online right. The 57-year-old Air Force veteran believed Fuentes' furious talk about the dangers of diversifying America and worried that it placed him in danger. On many nights, she sent paid messages known as Super Chats to tell him about her own moments of personal crisis and encourage him, dipping into the little money she made serving chicken paprika on a Polish food truck. She doubted Fuentes was making much money, no more than $50,000 a year, she said. Her son, Stephen Ryan, who watched Fuentes together with his mom on a 65-inch TV screen. We were barely making it, but we wanted to help him because we saw that what he was struggling with, Ryan said in an interview. But by the time of her prayer message, Fuentes was already generating a sizable income. Since the start of last year through the end of last month, roughly 11,000 donors have sent Fuentes nearly $900,000 in Super Chats, a Washington Post analysis found. The Post analyzed more than 1,400 hours of Fuentes' streams using artificial intelligence to tally donations, which flicker on screen in real time. Fuentes, 27, was kicked off most mainstream social networks because of his viral provocations and extreme bigotry. He has said that Adolf Hitler is awesome and that most black people should be imprisoned and that organized Jewry has corrupted society and that women should be locked in breeding gulags and serve only as mothers, whores, or nuns. Unbelievable that prominent Democrats have connected me and my worldview to this worldview, by the way. Something that I find to be morally repugnant. Something that I've chosen to combat my entire fucking life. And still, you have a bunch of dumb dip actively making this comparison because they love Israel that much. Ugh, gross. But he has become an increasingly influential and disruptive force in the American conservative movement, thanks to a shadow economy of loyalists who cut and promote viral clips from his hour-long streams in pursuit of their own online clout. Through his Super Chats, Fuentes has funneled that attention into a lucrative financial engine fueled by handouts of hardcore fans. He said he also makes money selling swastika-imprinted t-shirts and $100 a month subscriptions to a private chat room where he talks with devotees. His monthly revenue for Super Chats has grown. We're an invisible empire, Fuentes replied to one donor's message during a January stream. We're building a cadre of professionals, money people, bureaucrats, and we need them to all be waving the flag, but quietly, ideologically, loyally. We've got to be underground. Fuentes' Super Chat revenue throws a spotlight on the crisis now engulfing the American right, where some leaders fear a new blitz of agenda-setting online firebrands will alienate more moderate voters or empower a platform of racist and misogynistic rule. His critics in the Republican Party have said they believe Fuentes' popularity would fade as more Americans learn his provocative views, but the Super Chat show he has instead found a still relatively small but diehard audience eager to support him, extending him a financial incentive to build his following even more. Invisible Empire is what the Klan calls themselves. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, he is very much that. A Klansman, a Nazi, he's all of it. The funding also shows how fringe online platforms have helped create perpetual hate machines for the social media era, allowing provocateurs whose work is too controversial for mainstream platforms or too noxious to advertise around to reap the rewards of online outrage. Fuentes frequently uses his streams to advertise America First Plus chat room membership club and merchandise store, where he sells $39.99 shirts depicting him holding a flaming katana and $70 sweatshirts modeled after one worn by Jeffrey Epstein. Fuentes has defended the late sex offender by saying age of consent is a feminist artifact and the gynocracy has used to stop men from pursuing teenage girls. But he spends more time promoting viewer donations, which he reads out loud in a rapid-fire super chat segment at the end of his America First shows. He streams roughly 4 nights a week, sometimes 5 straight hours, from his studio home in Illinois. His videos on Rumble, the alternative platform that hosts his broadcasts, have been viewed more than 100 million times. Fuentes is largely supported by donations from a small cadre of sympathizers. Just 10 accounts were responsible for giving him a total of about $77,000, while the top 500 accounts provided almost half of his super chat income, more than $400,000, the post analysis found. The rest comes from much smaller donors, most giving $30 or less. You could legit make millions if you had a donation segment at the end of the stream. I know, but I don't do that. Many of the donors are anonymous and use account names such as Anti-Semiticat and Woman Ego Crusher 9000 that reference edgy memes, profane language, or inside jokes, making it difficult to verify the names or other details of the donors shown on Fuentes streams. Owen Gatt sent $5, said, I'm taking a college class on the Holocaust. Should I push back on the propaganda the professor pushes? Austrian Paintress sent $20. What are the chances that we were at the same airport last week? How do you want your followers to react when they meet you IRL? Salute you with a Heil Hitler, ask for a photo, give you a hug, ignore you? Roman Groiper sent $10. I feel white-pilled by how right-wing Zoomers are and by how much leftists hate Israel. It may be a unique opportunity now to get rid of the world of Zionism if literally all of the earth hates them. Megan Squire, researcher who has studied online extremism at the Southern Poverty Law Center, said the growth of super chats and other micropayments has helped insulate influencers like Fuentes from the constraints that once made open racism a difficult business. Some donors see the super chats as a form of participatory politics that will help spread their beliefs and show their loyalty, Squire said. Others just pay for the status symbol of seeing their message and username on screen, she said. A way to prove oneself in an insular group brought together by their hatred of outsiders. Donating super chat is the new showing up to a Ku Klux Klan meeting, Squire said, is a community builder. It shows you're involved. It's a financial form of keyboard warrioring, a thing you can do for the cause. Ryan, who sent Fuentes super chats alongside his mother, said he gave money not out of hatred, but to support the streamer in his goal of sparking candid discussions about global events. Some of the angrier exchanges, he said, stem from listeners just being a little more free with their speech. When the Post contacted Fuentes to discuss its findings, he did not dispute them and said, pocket watching is crazy. Wow. It's a little fucked, but not gonna lie, I'd probably say similar things. Speaking of right-wing income, did you see this? Oh, the Asmongold thing? Yes, I did. Yeah, he has not paid $400,000 worth of taxes. Yeah, I mean, look, you make unbelievable amounts of money being a fucking winger just by donations alone, you know? The Piker Broadcasting Service, on the other hand, is sponsored by you, the viewers, for you, the viewers, with voluntary subscriptions, no ads, nothing. Ugh. Thank you, Emily Giselle. How 900K, though? Look at YouTube top super chat. Oh, my God. Pastor Jerry Eza, super chat revenue, $8.3 million. What the fuck are these things, dude? What is all this? Timcast IRL is number 12 at $2.5 million in super chat revenue. What the fuck is any of this? VTubers make so much money. Oh my lord. It's like televangelists and then fuck VTubers, huh? Dr. Disrespect is here at 1.7 million. Fresh and Fit made $1.5 million. Wait, is this like, what is this? Oh, this is all time. Okay. Bro, you fucked me up. This is all time, dude. I thought this was like yearly income or something. I was like, Jesus Christ. This pastor makes $2 million a year. A low 4K radio show. Bad Bunny. 3 million yearly super chat revenue. LolCow Live makes 471 grand a year off of super chat revenue. Bro, I show Speed makes less money than these people. How is that even possible? That's just Ludwig. This is crazy. Okay, Parker get a job, 270 grand a year just off super chat revenue. Dean Withers at 251 grand a year. Damn, these motherfuckers are caking it, dude. Lolcat people are the most parasocial of all time. Think about it. Yeah. This is just super chats, by the way. They obviously do ads as well. They do a tremendous amount of revenue off of ads too. Oh my God. The entire environment is so geared in the direction of right-wing shit all the time. It's so funny that if you sincerely ask like a big chunk of leftists on the internet, a big chunk of right-wingers on the internet, they'd be like, who's the biggest like political grifter? Who makes the most money off of political commentary? Even leftists would probably universally say me. Meanwhile, these like a fraction of the audience are raking in bigger fucking funds off of just super chats alone. It's actually kind of crazy. Begging for you to be a VTuber so you can talk politics and drag weebs into being a leftist. I don't have the voice for it. Anyway, getting back to this, his popularity, he said, stemmed from not just his political stance, but his community's craving for emotional connection. People are fanatical about my show because they relate to me and feel conflicted and misunderstood like I do. I don't think hatred or even ideology animates them as much as a feeling that they aren't totally alone. The message of my show is be yourself. Everyone's a liberal at the end of the day. Good news, Jason the Ween and Pokemon are suing.
I bet. Nah. Directly involved. Okay, bet. I bet. Nah. I'm saving this shit. Let me save this shit. I might download videos. Actually, let me screenshot this shit.
Fuck, dude. See, he has to use the snipping tool. Even I know how to snip and screenshot without opening the snipping tool up.
That's one. Hope Rainbed's paying you enough, buddy. Hope Rainbed's paying you enough, buddy. I know exactly how much they're paying you too, buddy. Hey, they offered Ween updates bread too. Exactly. Hey, it's not enough. It's not enough, buddy.
Great. I mean, I'm 100% on board with this. They should, I mean, every single one of these accounts should get fucked into oblivion. They do this shit all the time. Someone's got to deliver accountability, you know? Yeah.
Hey, matter of fact, bro, I'm about to hit Pokey up, bro. We're gonna double suit your bitch ass. The double lawsuit, mother.
You should have been sued them too, dumbass. I got too much going on. If I did this, it would be the only thing I do. Yeah. If I went after people who defame me professionally, I would have to literally go after virtually half of the fucking commentary sphere, some of which have actually now turned on their fuck Hasan narratives and are have now gotten, it got so old for them that they just like literally were like, all this stuff is bullshit, turns out. Yeah, I would have to sue politicians. I'd have to sue old ass YouTubers. Same with Pokey too, to be honest. And it would be all of my content. It would take up every single moment of my life. You'd have to sue Pokey? No. Pokemon would have to sue the entire internet too. Pokey would have generational wealth in those legal battles? No, because most of these people are broke. Fuentes sometimes bragged about how successfully he's translated online attention into wealth, saying in January to a super chat donor, who encouraged him to take cooking class? I'm a famous millionaire. You think I'm going to do that? Cooking, he added, is a little gay. Fuentes refers to traditional workers as wage slaves and said in response to one donor super chat last year that he was too rich to need a real job. I'm providing information. I'm doing real cognitive work over here. And, you know, I don't know. You sell fucking paperweights, he said. It is so funny that like these guys, and they love this shit, right? Realest shit he's ever said. Like, these are all the same people who are like, Hasan, you fucking hate the working class, you piece of shit. Remember when we misunderstood a point you were making by design and decided to make like a fucking month-long hate campaign off of it? Streaming is harder than a 9 to 5 when I never fucking said that. It's the same people when it's Nick Fuentes saying something far more heinous than what they claim I said. They're like, hell yeah, baby.
Have you had? I love when poor people say, what real jobs have you had? First of all, I'm rich. Second of all, you should avoid having a real job. If you can swing it, you should avoid having a real job. I don't know what a real job is. What's a real job? A real job is what exactly? You sell insurance? What the fuck is real about that? You're a financial advisor? What is that exactly? You don't have a real job. What do you sell? You sell fuck what exactly? You sell widgets? That's a real job?
The amount of freedom you have if you are just on the right to say whatever the fuck you want and get endless loyalty and endless charitability, and sometimes even get charitability from liberals, is unbelievable. The amount of people who are like supposedly on the left who are like, oh, I reluctantly think he's like kind of charismatic and he's kind of funny. That kind of shit bricks me. Like, there are people who sincerely say this kind of stuff. We are, as a society, so primed to be forgiving of reactionary commentary, so forgiving of right-wing commentary, no matter how far right it goes. We're also endlessly unforgiving for anyone that says, you know, we could have a better world. We could design this world in a better way for more egalitarian outcomes. Everyone goes, fuck you. You fuck piece of shit. Kill yourself. How dare you? Oh, man. This even happens like when you are ostensibly to the left of whatever the norm is. Like, this happens to liberals as opposed to, because like liberals are to my right, but liberals are to the left of the Republican Party, right? To the left of conservatives. So like they have to operate by very different standards than conservatives have to operate off of. It's just always, there is, the further left you are, the less charitability there is to your worldview. The further right you are, the more charitability there is to your worldview. It's kind of unbelievable, you know? In his messages to the Post, he noted that the super chats brought their own kind of mental labor. I'm not free, he said. I'm chained to the desk reading insipid slop. In the years since he began streaming from his parents' basement, Fuentes has emerged as one of far-right's most contentious agitators, most notably his scathing criticism of President Donald Trump. Fuentes now argues that the president betrayed MAGA by supporting Israel in a war with Iran and blew it by not working more aggressively to deport people of color. Fuentes told his fans, known as Groypers, to vote against Trump-backed candidates in the coming election so that a more brutal fascist regime can bloom, saying last month on an X post that the GOP must be purged and burned to the ground. Fuentes' rise has alarmed GOP leaders who are concerned that the online ecosystem that rewards his views are here to stay. The California Republican Party sent state party officials a memo in February urging them to block candidates who promote Fuentes and Groyper culture, saying his ideology called for an America model closely after Nazi Germany that was alienating to average Americans, to say the least. Trump said in January, first of all, you can't say that because the Republican Party is literally designing society in a similar fashion, right? Like, there are prominent members of the Trump administration that have identical views to Nick Fuentes, like straight up. And they know it too. They talk about it all the time. No such equivalence exists on the left. Like, the closest that our movement has reached in terms of like proximity to power is maybe like, you know, Zohran Mamdani and a couple of other people. And also, there is no moral equivalence between socialism and Nazism, obviously, which is precisely the reason why I don't shy away from saying my perspective on the world. Because at the end of the day, like, my goals, what I want to do, I sincerely believe will lead to a better future for everyone. And not only that, but also I don't shy away from describing my vision. Don't see the need to like hide behind dog whistles or whatever in the way that like liberals try to present it, because there is nothing embarrassing or scary about my worldview. Like, slowly but surely moving in the direction of mass control of mass politics is not a bad thing. There is no death and destruction at the end of this process, in the same way that there is death and destruction at the end of whatever vision Nick Fuentes has for society. As a matter of fact, that death and destruction is already here, right? Through the brutal ICE encampment. Horseshoe theory. Oh my God. Every dumb fuck on the planet. Please. No, I don't believe in horseshoe theory because I'm not a fucking idiot. Okay. I'm sorry, chatter. Only fucking morons keep saying the horseshoe theory. Yeah, dude, I know. It's the radical center is where we must be. Look how far it got us. Seems like the radical center keeps swinging wildly to the fucking right. Yes, horseshoe theory is like every fucking dumb guy who is self-IDing as a liberal who hasn't explored the confines of their ideology that think, oh, well, I'm in the moderate, mythical, liberal center. Ask those people what they think about certain policies, and you will very quickly understand that they're not actually in this like moderate, mythical center that they think they're in, okay? Half of those fucking people either know enough to know that, like, you know, modest social democracy is absolutely the direction that we need to move towards, at least in the short term, and perhaps could be convinced for more radical transformation of society in the long term. The other half are just dumbasses who think, America is the only OECD nation that can't have socialized medicine for some fucking weird reason, because they're dumb morons that have been fucking propagandized into thinking that the only way the society can function is if like healthcare is costing an arm and a goddamn leg. Okay? Horseshoe theory is the easiest tool for your average dumbass to think they're smart by avoiding the ends like it's a fucking seesaw. It makes people comfortable. Sure. Fuentes' online following has only grown since then, giving him a surprising political reach. A video from a TikTok account, Liberal Groiper, combining stirring music with the sound bites of Fuentes celebrating former President Joe Biden's Iran policy, has been viewed more than 4 million times. That's the other thing. Nick Fuentes found out the secret method to winning a broad coalition of watchers, which is be a fucking dominant neo-Nazi who celebrates former Democrats. Because every goddamn Democrat loves getting a convert, okay? They love converts. Democrats, liberals love converts. So someone who is not converted at all can just as easily manipulate that system by every now and then saying things like, oh, I really wish Joe Biden was still president. And then every stupid libtard eats that shit up like Neera Tanden was retweeting Fuentes. Okay? That's all it takes. All it takes is for you to develop yourself as a prominent right-wing figure to then turn around and say, oh, I'm libtarded now for like the duration of this clip. That's all it is. It's so easy. Trump said in January he didn't know Fuentes and that the MAGA movement does not welcome anti-Semites. VP J.D. Vance, whom Fuentes disparaged in racist terms for marrying an Indian American woman, said in 2024 that Fuentes was a total loser who should be ignored until he goes away. The White House did not respond to requests for comment. Fuentes' digital infrastructure has helped him secure a level of political and cultural influence that would have a few years ago been unimaginable. Chicago Magazine in February named the white nationalist number 7 on its list of the 50 most powerful Chicagoans, just behind the city's mayor. But he's argued that its real value has been in helping him develop a network of followers eager to shape American power in a post-Trump future. If I'm a Nazi, then there's millions of young people that are following a fucking Nazi, he said on stream last year. There's millions of monsters then, because they love my show and they agree with me way more than they agree with you, and they're pissed off and they will follow me into battle. Probably not, because there's a lot of people like this. Ryan said he didn't agree with all of Fuentes' views or those of his followers, but he believed the influencer was helping expose forbidden truths about the Holocaust or other fraught topics. Oh, the American predisposition to like unlocking hidden truths is just like a thought terminating machine. How can we convince Nick Fuentes followers to stop being bigots? Should we give them hugs and kisses until they're not racist anymore? Yes, that's my argument. You should do that. Ryan said he believes Hitler was Jewish and the Holocaust was more of a Jewish-oriented Christian killing event. He started giving Fuentes a few dollars here and there to show his support. The heart of Fuentes' message was that young men in the United States have gotten a rotten deal. In his telling, a nation of entitled baby boomers like those leading the Republican Party had poisoned American society with bad jobs, unbearable women, and a racially diverse population intent on depriving white people of what they are owed. Fuentes was charismatic messenger for those grievances, delivering them across live streams, ex-posts, and short video feeds with a casual charm that made him seem approachable and fun, Ryan said. But he was also not afraid to turn dark when he needed to, evoking a righteous anger at the chaos and constant wars of this fake world, Ryan said. The blame, Fuentes said, laid in how the country had tolerated minorities and immigrants, championed Israel, and given women the freedom to choose their own lifestyles. He was like a younger version of me, just much more hostile, Ryan said. I was like, this guy's saying everything I really feel, but I try not to say out loud because I just don't want to piss anyone off. Growing up in the Chicago suburb of LaGrange Park, Fuentes has shown an early fervent interest in conservative debates. In an archived statement on the website of his high school, where he served as a student council president and secretary general of the Model United Nations, he called himself a classical liberal and an objectivist. Nerd. He wrote that his personal heroes included German Chancellor Otto von Bismarck and Richard M. Nixon, and declared his life philosophy, hunt or be hunted. In his first year as an international relations and political science student at Boston University, he gained a small following for his pro-Trump YouTube channel, building on the skills he'd learned working on a high school TV show. In 2017, when he was 18, his profile grew further after he attended a white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, Unite the Right, where a neo-Nazi rammed his car into a crowd of counter-protesters, killing a woman named Heather Heyer and injuring dozens of other people. Fuentes went viral on social media for his posts in the rally's aftermath, championing the rise of a tidal wave of white identity that elites will not be able to stop. Fuentes dropped out of college shortly after, blaming online threats and the liberal climate on campus. He began working full-time on fiery anti-immigration speeches and posting right-wing content online. He went from conservative values to very deep to the right, Bill Allen, a supervisor at TV services at Fuentes High School, reportedly told Chicago Tribune in 2017. Fuentes has said his father is part Mexican and his parents are vaguely conservative like boomers are, but that they rejected some of his more extreme beliefs, including that Hitler was right and the Holocaust didn't happen, as Fuentes said on one stream. He and his family remain close. They had just gotten dinner at a steakhouse near the mall, he told viewers last month, but they are not without their disagreements. Fuentes said his father last month asked him to reconsider selling a swat blazing t-shirt. Dad, that's the whole point. It's edgy, he said, he replied. Fuentes' parents did not respond to a request for comment. Oh, God. It's so crazy that there are Americans who unironically think the hammer and sickle is the equivalent of this, by the way, a byproduct of liberal American education. And there are even more, or not more, there are even a significant amount. Hasan, get ready to be the next Secretary of Defense. First fifth world country. My ideal government: President Marco Rubio, VP Hazal Din, Secretary of State Kamala Harris, Secretary of Defense Hassan Piker, Health Secretary RFK Jr., Speaker of the House Gretchen Whitmer. How does this cabinet work, man? Anyway, whatever. This is a sad state of affairs. Jesus Christ.